we go.
So, how was your opening night? Let's start from there.
It was fucking meant, so much so that I've like nearly blown my voice out in one night. Like,
Oh, wow.
I just got too excited. So
Understand.
it was just because it was just like full. There's one people singing your songs back there, like in the crowd last night were really good. So it was like,
Must be a surreal feeling.
but it's just when you've spent an entire summer breaking yourself in and playing other people's shows and doing loads of festivals, and then you do your tour, and it's like, fuck me, these are the people that actually want to see us. It's like,
How was your festival run this summer?
amazing.
Any
Incredible.
highlights?
Loads. Lowlands in the Netherlands was fucking mental. We've got like a proper good following there. In Germany, Germany's really good as well. Germany's mental, but anywhere in the Netherlands and Germany's pretty amazing. And I don't know, there's a couple of good festivals in here as well, like Boardmasters. Boardmasters was fucking mental in Cornwall.
Yeah.
We've got like a good we've got kind of like Southwest. I've got quite a bit of a following because I did a lot of work down there when I was about your age.
Okay.
I did like, I started out just as like acoustic on my own and did a load of gigs down there when I was about 18, 19.
Great.
And then and that's kind of I've had like a grassroots following of people down there that remember us from the old version of Sam Fender, which I hope will be buried and forgotten forever. But yeah, is what it is.
So big changes then.
Yeah,
Since you were younger.
yeah, definitely. Come on, it was all that stuff right back then was really like it was the embryonic stages of what I've become now, which is half of it was incredibly embarrassing. So.
So you're preferring playing with a band?
Well, yeah, I just preferring writing good songs. Like, I just wrote a load of shit, but I think you've got to, as a songwriter, you have to kind of do that. And I think you're learning to write for the right reason as well. I used to kind of write with the idea of going, I hope this gets us somewhere, or I used to be like, wanted to be in a fucking band that did well, you know what I mean? Or I'll be like, how do I write a song that's going to get us on the fucking radio or something like that, you know, ridiculous things. But most people who think that who go into music do have this really kind of, I talk to a lot of kids that have got like really they base their career success on like really stupid shit. And if you're coming into that, like if you're coming into the music industry with the idea of trying to make money, then you're a fucking idiot. Like, this is not the place for that. You've got to genuinely love it because it's a hard slog. It's like, it doesn't happen overnight, like nothing, you know what I mean? I've been at this for years now, and now it's like starting to become like
reality.
It's it's brilliant, and it's like amazing, but it's like I've not missed a step on the ladder, if you know what I mean. Like we've done 160 shows this year, so like, you know what I mean, like it's non-stop, yeah. And that's like, and then we've only just started the UK tour. That's just a joke, and you know what I mean?
So, what's your mindset when you're going in to write a song now? Then, if you're not writing it to achieve those things, are you writing more for yourself, or?
Yeah, I used to kind of write. I think when I was a kid, I used to write songs because I enjoyed it, but I didn't necessarily think maybe it's about what I actually cared about. I thought, oh, will people like? I cared about too much of what people thought of me. And I used to write, hopefully, in the hopes that these people would like. You know, I think you're right to be accepted. I think that's a part of growing up, though. You search the grand old. This is going to sound very emo. The grand old like search for acceptance that you have that all the way through your kind of teens and that. And then I just stopped giving a fuck about everything when I hit about 20, and then because some like mad changes happened in my life, I tried to change my perspective on everything, and then I just started writing songs purely for the love of it.
Fair enough. I think that comes through more in the music as well.
Well, thank you very much.
No problem.
How do you like? What goals do you set yourself then? If it's not, I'm going to sell out, you know, this place by the time I'm 25. Like, what you kind of?
Oh, I do have them goals as well.
Oh yeah.
Like, I want to do Shepherd's Bush next year.
Yeah.
Like,
that'd be mad.
that's definitely where I'm going for. I want to do Shepherd's Bush when I like do the next tour in London, because we're doing Brixton.
That's gonna be a big
Not
show,
Brixton,
so
not Brixton Academy, Brixton Electric, which is like 1,500, and
Still a good venue,
that's on its way to selling out. So if I'm selling at 1,500, Shepherd's Bush is 2,000. So I'm like, I can surely push it to there by next year. So that's
it's attainable.
That's the dream, I think. So yeah, we're gonna do that.
Okay. And speaking of milestones and goals, you played Jools Holland the other week.
Fucking
so
hell.
how was that experience?
Nuts, like completely nuts. Like I'm gonna. I can only describe this experience with platitudes and cliches, because it is exactly that. It's like
There are no words.
It is a dream. It is the dream milestone for anyone to kind of. Plus, it's a show that, like, I don't know how long it's gonna last for. And I've like watched that show since I was a kid, like
Yeah,
with
so
my
have I.
with my folks. Well, exactly. If you're in music, you know, you've watched it all your life. You've watched your favorite bands go on, and like, it's always, for me, it was always like, fuck, if you're on Jools, you've made it, or like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're legit.
Well, I
You
hold
know?
the same view. It would
So-
be unreal to play that.
So that was the thing, to get on it. I was just like, this
Yeah.
is fucking nuts.
Did
My arse
you
was
just-
nipping like a rabbit's nose the entire time. I was just like, fucking hell. He said
Yeah.
North Shields, which is my hometown. I was like, that's the first time Jools Holland has ever said North Shields in his entire life.
So were you able to enjoy it, or did you feel extra pressure knowing that
You know what it is?
it's such a pivotal
There was a
point?
lot of the pressure thing, but I kind of just went, fuck this, like, you're on it once.
Yeah.
And I let go of it, and I really, really enjoyed it. Like, it was really, really good. I was always terrified because I've had mates that have gone on it and, like, kind of had mistakes. Like, oh, like, I had a bit bad time. Like, the Amazons went on and they had, like, a bit of a bad time on one of their shows. And I remember just being fucking terrified. Like, because after I'd spoke with them and, like, one of my mates, I was like, oh, God, like, I couldn't imagine anything worse than, like,
Yeah.
dropping something alive.
I do remember that performance, and he like dropped his pick and missed a pedal, and
And his voice
Yeah.
broke.
can't
When he
have been
went-
fun.
I think he was just so stressed that his voice just went, like, you know what I mean?
I think pressure also comes from the fact that you know that you're being put on a platform where your music can reach a new audience.
Yeah, totally.
From that one performance.
Yeah, totally. I just fucking went up and did it. I just went, boys, let's just do exactly what we do every night. And if there's a mistake, then there's a mistake. I was like, it's live music. It's not what you can do about it. So we just went up and did it, and it fucking happened to go really well, so it was alright, so it was all good. Then we came off and got absolutely rat-arsed. And then I couldn't,
Big night out.
it was not really a big night in Maidstone, fucking Maidstone's fucking Hilton in the Kent, in Kent, like, fucking wasn't really a big night out, like, we did get fucked up, but it was in a hotel,
Fair
so
enough.
it was very old school band crack, like,
Yeah.
because we don't often get to do that, because I've got to look after my voice, but
You're not very rock and roll on the bus. No trash in hotel rooms.
no,
and-
God, don't be daft, can't afford that. Nah, it's all steam inhalers and fucking cheese, things like that for us now. That's what it's like. I think it's like that for most bands, to be honest.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah,
The industry's a different beast now.
yeah. There's not as much immediate money. It's kind of like it's a slow burner, but there's still stuff to be done. There's still money to be made and things like that. But
I suppose you're made more aware of that when you've grown up in a musical family. I'm aware that you've grown up in a musical family.
yes.
So do you feel like that has inevitably
Nice
driven
inroad
you
there.
to-
I like
I
that.
know.
That's good.
I'm working on
You're
it.
practicing. Okay, you're good at this. Yeah.
So, do you think that having come from a musical background, you were inevitably going to do this?
I think my dad, I think he kind of wanted us to be like a teacher or something, you know what I mean, or go and be an electrician, or fucking, do something that would guarantee us a career. So I never really. He used to tell us, you never really showed us much. My dad, really, to be honest, he didn't like actually try and teach us things. He showed us like the odd thing, but he never like taught us guitar or anything like that.
Okay.
And then he encouraged it when he realised I was into it. And he used to tell us loads of different things, like, oh, you should do this, you should do that. And then when I hit 20, he was like, actually, it was a load of bullshit what I said to you, so you should just do what you want to do. And then I did. And it's because I think so. I don't know if I was inevitable, but I think it definitely plays into it. I mean, if you're surrounded by a bunch of people playing music and pianos and guitars all day and listening to records every day, it's gonna get to you via osmosis. I think you're gonna.
For sure.
It's
in the blood.
Yeah. I suppose. Yeah.
Can you tell us about your album art?
My album art,
Yeah.
or the EP art.
The EP art.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm going to clear this up. We did not purposely kill a magpie. Right. We accidentally killed a magpie.
Makes all the difference.
You are actually the first person to get this story, so this is the first person that understands
You're
this. So
exclusive.
this is an exclusive. This is an exclusive about the story, because loads of people online are going like, I can't believe, you fucking killed a magpie, or like, I hope you didn't kill that, or like, is it dead? I'm like, clearly it's dead. Like, we're driving down to Dover because we're shooting videos, and basically a magpie just flew across the road, smashed into the front of the car, and I was like, fucking hell, we just killed a magpie, which is the Geordie mascot, which is Newcastle's bird, right? Which
It's an omen.
Yeah.
it was like, it literally is a moment, and the song's about my friend and people from my hometown who've committed suicide, and then we turned up, we pulled over the car, and the magpie, which we thought was just gone, we got to the car and was like, fuck, the magpie's on the front of the car. It was still attached.
No.
It was still attached to the car, and we were like, oh, and he was like, pick it off, because foot was stuck in the grill. So I picked it off, and I had it in my hand, and it was remarkably like untouched. It was like almost completely
that's what
untouched.
I was thinking when I
Yeah.
saw it. I was
It was
like,
just
that
like-
is-
That's not
that's
like
in good
roadkill.
shape.
Yeah, it was just-
considering
it was-
what it's been through.
Yeah, it was completely beautiful. Like, the only thing that was dodged was one of its eyes looked a little bit red, but it basically looked completely intact. You know, I was like, the impact must have just killed it straight away.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I'm gutted. I was like, this is Geordie bird. I was like, and it's one for sorrow, two for joy, all of that. So I was like, my little OCD brain started getting a bit panicky. And then, and Jack just literally had clocked the photo of us with it in my hand. And then he was like, oh, fuck, he's like, I'm going to take some more. And I was just like, all right. So I stood there with the fucking dead magpie, like, and he took a load, and then it kind of all made sense when we put all the photos together. We're like, magpie, Geordie bird. I was like, accidentally became a metaphor, you know what I mean? It didn't,
Yeah, of course.
but it wasn't like a planned thing. It just happened kind of like that. And then we looked at the shot, and it's just like, it's a fucking striking shot. Like, it just, you know what I mean? It's crackers. All the fucking edgy, there's loads of people like getting like, all the fucking trolls like going like, oh, fucking edgy, holding the dead bird. It's just like, fuck off, man. What are you doing? Fucking shelf stacking and Morrison's daft cunt. Like, yeah. I mean, so it is what it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So across the board, though, we were discussing before the album art. We were saying it's very aesthetically pleasing, and we were wondering how involved you are in that, and whether there's more to it than just it being a cool photo kind of thing. Or
What, all the photos of my singles?
Yeah.
Along the way, yeah. So they were, Jack Whitefield, my mate, took photos. He does all of my photos. And the way he put it was, it was the most wanky thing he'd ever said to us in my entire life, which is like, it's an abstraction of your surroundings. And I was like, that sounds like fucking something that someone at Central St. Martin's would say, you know. It sounds like really art school shit. But he was just saying, like, he took photos of these, you know, of like, so the radiator and the phone off the hook was, it's one of the smashed up radiators. Is a rehearsal rooms in Newcastle, which is very famous. That every band in Newcastle uses pretty much the off key. It's just this big, like, looks like Joy Division-esque Love Will Tear Us Apart warehouse sort of thing, like really fucked. And loads of rooms are in it, and every band's got a room in it. But it's not just like not just a room that you can rehearse in. It's a room that you can stay in overnight. So it's like almost like this fucking skag hole party plan. So every band goes up there and plays their guitars. There's loads of bands in all of these different rooms, but everyone's getting shit faced and throwing house parties or room parties. And it's fucking cracker. So that's the off key, because that's where it kind of all started for a lot of bands in Newcastle. So that's me, like, you know, kind of just having a nod to that.
yeah, that's amazing.
And then the plant pot. These are all exclusives, by the way, as well. So like, I'm telling you everything.
We're trying to ask you things that no one else was going to
The plant. Well, it's good. They're good. That's good questions. The plant pot. These fucking uni lads, right? The lads from the other day as well. Yesterday's university boy was lovely. These guys are lovely. We get round by the professional fucking people, and that's the most fucking shit, boring questions ever, and they're all a bunch of shit cunts. These guys have actually got something interesting to talk about every time. What do you need it for?
I was saying that they've got to fuck off now.
Alright, okay. Oh, well.
No, the next interview's here, so we've got a couple more minutes. If that's
Alright, okay, no problem. We'll tie it up. So yeah, the plant pots is just a plant pot outside the pub that I worked at for 3 years from when I was 18.
Yeah.
So I worked in that pub from being a kid. That was like that was my main job for ages. After I left my A-levels, I didn't go to uni. I just worked in a bar and got pissed for 3 years. And then all of them other things. So everything's like linked in, all of this stuff. The Cones, the ice rink, where it's in a pile of ice. That's the ice rink where Whitley Warriors play, and that's like, we watch ice hockey. in Newcastle and in the on the coast, and it's like really violent, and everyone just punches the shit out of each other. It's really funny. So it's just there's loads of all of the singles I like. They're just parts of my life. They're just little snippets of where I'm from. You know what I mean, and stuff like that. So in the Magpie's a dead magpie that we killed by accident.
It is what it says on the tin. So
It's not like
last
overly
question,
profound.
What should we go for?
Should we ask about the Blossoms?
Yeah.
Go for it, eh?
So later on in the year,
Blossoms,
playing with Blossoms.
cracking.
Happy about that?
Aye, buzzed.
Yeah.
Great. It's wonderful that we've got 2 shows with them. There's some really cool stuff coming up. We're off to Australia.
Wow.
We're off to New Zealand, and then we're waiting to get this one last gig. So we're going to go in Australia, New Zealand, and then Tokyo.
I was going to
And
say
then-
Japan.
And then it's from Tokyo back home.
That'd be
Wow.
amazing.
So it's like fucking.
Awesome.
That's the best part of the job. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So lovely to meet you. Anyway,
You
boys.
too. Thank you very much. Have a
Take
great
care.
gig.
Are you
tomorrow.
coming along the night? Oh,
I'll be there.
okay, it's cracking.
Sweet.
Thank you very
All
much.
right, boys. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.